It's a lovely day. Hi guys, welcome back. I've had quite a few messages recently asking about the progress in the Mazda MX5. Oh, mate. Dolt. So I thought I'd do a quick video on the Mazda, show you the repairs that it's had done, and hopefully some plans for the not too distant future. So here we are. State of that. I'll get into that in a minute. I've literally just it's been down at my buddy, my cousin actually, Sam's, doing all this welding work. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Massive shout out to Sam, give him a follow. I'll put a little pop out banner here, wide and wing, go and give him a follow because he's done a massive amount of welding work on there and really helped me out. Come back to that in a minute. On the way from his place up to here, this brake caliper was pouring smoke, and basically I've had to put a new caliper on. So let me finish just putting this caliper back together, and then we'll jack the back of the car up and I'll show you what's been happening in there. I've done this job already once, basically fitted the new caliper, swapped the pipe over, put it all back together, went to go and tighten up the bottom bolt that goes into the sliding pin, caliper slider, and the threads sheared off inside there. So I had to buy a whole new kit. Here's the kit for the other side. Basically that one bolt should have been like 14 quid, but I bought the kit to do both sides, both calipers, for £12.99 from Brakes International on eBay, so a massive shout out to them. Got some Paget pads in there already, and they've got loads of meat on. As some of you will know, I bought this end of October. The idea was to drive it around over the winter with the roof down and heated seats on. Part of that didn't happen. Some of it because it was pouring with rain, and obviously you don't want the roof down with pouring with rain, but the main reason is just before they were about to go and salt all the roads, I thought, well, if I'm going to drive this around through the salty roads, I want to get underneath and make sure it's all protected and undersealed. So I went to go and jack it up on the four-poster ramp, and this corner, literally, like as I started to jack it up, three corners of the car started to go up in the air, and this corner stayed on the ground, and the foot of the ramp, literally, or foot of the lift, sorry, literally just like went straight up into the bodywork. Got the Mazda up in the air now, and our joke's about lifting it up and the car staying on the floor and the seals going up in the air. Well, guess what's just happened this side? Dolt. Has anyone got some really good glue? Sparkly glue gun. Oh, mate. Dolt. So thankfully my cousin Sam came to the rescue, got it down to his place, and once we started investigating it, it wasn't good. So we basically, all this corner all came out. I'll overlay some shots of what we found because it was a bit of a nightmare. So basically all this corner was rotten, and then we chased it around here and inside the wheel arch, and that was rotten. And then I said, just give me that bar, and I literally just got the bar and just, all up inside the wheel arch, and it just went all the way through. So all inside the wheel arch was completely rotten. The outside of this was all starting to bubble, all the paint was coming off of that as well. So he said for the amount of fabrication and the amount of hassle it's going to take, for 100 quid from MX5 parts, we literally bought that whole wing. So we chopped this whole area out, right down to the seal down there, and then welded in a whole new wheel arch inside as well. Other mods that we've done, excuse the state of the dust in here because we have been angle grinding and welding with the roof down, which wasn't the wisest idea, but it stopped it getting damp in here. Changed the stereo because it did have a big wide double din CD player tape deck thing, which is horrible and ginormous. And when we took that out, we actually found an old school hands-free kit from Vodafone behind the dash, which had like speakers and microphone and stuff in there. So it ripped all that out. So that was a job well done. Pop the bonnet as well, because the other thing that we've done in here is I did notice one day when it was parked up that it was pouring water out all over the floor. So I fitted a brand new radiator. This is actually really easy job. There's literally two nuts on the top there to take the fan out, and then two nuts to take these two plates off, and then once you take off the top and bottom hose, literally the whole radiator just lifts out. So that was probably now I've done it once, I could probably do it again in about 5 minutes, and now I've fitted this brand new radiator. Have a look down under here, look. Look at that. I'll show you a couple of parts that I bought. I've actually, because all this is completely open for stone chips and stuff, I've actually bought a grill that I'm going to put in there to stop more stone chips getting in there. Come around to the boot. Here's some more bits that I bought. So everyone says I need to buy these Delrin door bushes. Apparently they like, when they go in, they stop the doors flexing and apparently make the car feel a little bit more rigid, but for 30 quid we're going to find out. What else we got in here? This is my favourite thing. Can't wait to get this installed. Hydraulic handbrake. Massive skids. So that's cool. This is the grill. So this grill we're going to put on. Got a black one, hopefully you can't see it too much. Some of them are chrome and then they're like really reflective and shiny and they look a bit rubbish. I want it to kind of look a bit OEM if I can. Literally had to rip all this like boot lining out because while we were welding in the wheel arch, there was all like smoke and stuff pouring out of here. You'll just about see where we've been welding in there, hopefully. That's inside the wheel arch. Oh yeah, suspension. That's over here somewhere. Here we go. Got some BC racing coilovers. There was a guy on one of the Facebook MX5 groups who was selling some BC racing coilovers, so can't wait to get those on. Right, let's finish what I'm doing over here and then we'll jack this corner up and get this wheel off and we can inspect inside the rear wheel arch. Ace. Well, I'm happy with that. When I got it in here you couldn't even turn it by hand, even if you leant on it. Pucker. Right, now we've jacked the rear up, got the wheel off, let's have a quick look inside the wheel arch. So, as I said before, this has been a troublesome corner. What a flipping mess. Basically, this whole panel, if I open the door, the weld goes all the way down there, down to there, all the way across the top, and underneath there. So, obviously, got to grind the weld back. And put some filler seam sealer. I don't really know what to do with the outside bit, but inside the wheel arch you can see how much work my cousin Sam's done. Massive shout out to him. So he said it's not his tidiest welding because he's never welded this much on a car before, and also it's a right pig to get in here, but literally all this we cut it all out, all the way around there, all the way around there. Let me turn it, go around the other way. And then all the way around there, right up to the back here. I mean, good grief. And it was all just totally rotted. So what I've got to do now is, all this should be pretty good, but I put some seam sealer and stuff over it anyway. But the bit that I've got to do, so the bit where it attaches to the outside wing, got to put a load of seam sealer all around there, stop the water coming in when you're driving it in the rain, or more importantly, doing some massive rev limiter on the lock stops skids. That's the idea anyway. But water, God, it's just never ending. And then at some point we're going to get under here, get this diff out, which, to be fair, I was going to get the LSD rebuilt. I actually bought one with a 6-speed box and an LSD because I want to go and do some skids with it. However, I went to a Learn to Drift day on Saturday. Some MX5 tips for what spec we're going for. Roll cage, ironing boards. 5 guys up there running Mazda MX5s, and they all said to get a welded diff. 2 of them ran LSDs, I think, for the first drift day. And the problem with an LSD is all the time you're on the gas, or the first time I think when you get on the gas, it's the LSD locks up. Then as soon as you lift off to modulate the throttle, the LSD unlocks. And then when you try to go back on the gas, because then the wheels are going different speeds, it doesn't always lock up. This is pretty tired as well. Sometimes it locks up, sometimes it doesn't. When I'm out in Mexico doing a cheeky skid. I was chatting with Andy, who runs Learn to Drift, and he's got a welded diff sat in his workshop and the shafts. So I'm going to go out there 2 weeks' time, get the welded diff. We're going to get a welded diff in there about the same time we put the coilovers on. Hopefully change the wheels as well, because I don't really like the wheels. Go see my mate Phil. He said he's going to, Phil with the drift truck, he said he's going to help me wire in or plumb in the hydraulic handbrake. and then we will be out for skids. Look at the sorry state. In a way, I'm kind of glad it's happened, because now I'm feeling less precious about it and more happy to just rip it and abuse it and go and do some skids in it. So anyway, jumping back to this, basically once I've seam sealed all this, I'm going to get on the old primer stuff. So I'm going to get some red oxide primer on there, that'll stop it going rusty, and then we'll get on there either with some stone chip paint, and we'll get straight into it with underseal. That's not underseal, that's underseal, the old Dinatrol underseal. Then for the outside, basically obviously that's just bare metal, so to start with I think I'm just going to chuck some primer on it, grind these welds back, primer it, and then I thought I was just going to get away with painting it, but actually it's really ripply, so I think we're gonna have to do some body filler. Never done body filler before, but we're gonna give it a go. And then the rough quotes I've had for painting this, and obviously then you've got to blow it in with the door and all this sort of stuff, for the same money or less, my buddy Dan, who lives just up the road from me, does graphics and signs and stuff. He reckons that he can, for cheaper than painting it, he can wrap the whole car. So I've got a couple of ideas about what colour to go for. Put in the comments what you think colour we should go for. I was going to go for something a little bit shouty. If you're going to go for a decent colour, if you're going to go for a full colour change, you may as well do something half decent. So let us know what colour you think we should go for. But yeah, once we get it lowered, get some different wheels and a colour change, maybe go for a little roll bar as well, I don't know. Right, I'm going to get on with seam sealer. I've got some Tiger Seal. I don't even know if that's the right stuff that I should be using, but that's what I'm going to use anyway. I'm not going to film it because I don't really know what I'm doing, so the last thing I want to do is film it and then cock it up and get a load of complaints and stuff. This is not going to be a Matt Armstrong rebuild a Lamborghini professionally. This is going to be a Rick the Spuds bodge up an MX5 to go and do some skids. So if you like this sort of style of video, a couple of people said they wanted an MX5 update, so I just thought I'd quickly just film a little update on the car, show you what's been happening with it, and some ideas for the future. If you do, drop a comment in the comments below, and yeah, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, look at that. The main problem with doing seam sealer on a rusty car is, even if you are wearing gloves, you scag it on the rust and then it splits your gloves, and that is hands washed. Although the flip side of that is, if I can't get it off my hands, hopefully it won't come off my car. We shall see.